With more and more EVs on the road from more and more brands, there's the question of charging etiquette, and there's a whole lot of pointers out there, but there's also a handful of myths. How do you know which are which? Join me, won't you? I suspect Mark from the Tesla Life will do that. I'm Brian. Welcome to Future Ozza. So Mark here is a host over at the Tesla Life, along with Patrick and Casey. They do a weekly show. It's a whole lot of fun, and I enjoy it. But you know, sometimes they make mistakes and have me on. So there's only so much accounting for taste that can be done. But I appreciate it either way. So
we have a lot of fun over there, Brian. Absolutely.
You do. There was a joke I made last week that I was pretty proud of, and I noticed it went over well. But you guys will have to go and watch last week's show when I was on there. Not the current week, the week before that. I don't remember what it was now, but it went well. So yeah, is this plug taken? EV charging etiquette comes to Modern Manners book.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting that a book is picked up on this, but this, of course, is the growing number of EV people out there trying to understand what the etiquettes are for charging your vehicle. I know in the early days when you were hunting for maybe an L2 charger at a mall or an establishment that you were visiting, some people really had no clue as to how to act at a charger.
I have seen quite a few horror stories. You know, I'm in a few different EV groups, but the EV owners associations that I'm in love to share stories from the early days when you would go to the CVS and there's two chargers and one person just plugged in and the other is at 82% on their Leaf with like 45 minutes to go, an hour to go. And I'm sitting here. It's like, oh, come on, just go home. But this is an A to Z of Modern Manners. As you know, on Future Ozza, we go from A to Z and back again, so ours is going to be more comprehensive. The first one, don't cut in line. Should this go without saying?
Kind of simple, isn't it? That's that's life in general. Don't cut in line. If you show up later than the person in front of you, why do you get the butt in front of them?
Now, I haven't been driving an EV that requires public charging as long as you, so I imagine you have better feedback on this. I've literally never had to wait at a charger, ever. But I know it's a thing that happens. Are there people who will come to the other side and think, well, I'm in a different line than you?
That's absolutely right. There are many people that believe they're in their own line at all times, and they just show up and say, well, I was really going for stall number 5. That's in the middle. No one else is waiting for that. I know there's a big queue off to the left, but I'm after 5, not 1, 2, or 3 where the others are lined up.
Very silly. I think we can all agree that person knows good and well what they're doing. Don't be that person. Easy. We can move past that. That one's not a myth. Don't do that. Know something about your EV. Don't bring an AC car to a DC charger.
Maybe it should be know a few things about your EV, not just something. Know a few things.
Use PlugShare or a similar app to determine where you can charge. Let's start. I mean, how about that?
Maybe consider to know how fast your vehicle does charge at different chargers. Know the limits of when your vehicle is charging at peak performance and when it's not, because you may be charging at a charger that's broken or may never charge your vehicle properly because you know what the specs are in your vehicle. You can react accordingly.
Charging from 80 to 100% can take as long as it does to get from 10 to 80%. That's kind of what we're just talking about. If it's full, don't go past 80. Now, with the Tesla superchargers, on Thanksgiving, we stopped at a supercharger, and it said, hey, if you want to go past 80%, you can, but you will be charged idle fees over that because this station is busy. And there was an open spot or two when we got there, and the whole time there was 1 or 2 spots open. And when we left, there was 1 or 2 spots open. And that's because we all stopped at 80, which is kind of the sweet spot. Uh-huh. Be polite. Yeah. I mean, isn't that the same one?
Common sense.
So far, no myths. Don't be bullied, depending on where you are. Certain protections for EV charging spots that prohibit them being iced out. So if it's legal to call and get them ticketed, I wouldn't complain about being iced unless it was taking up all the spots.
That's a judgment call, isn't it? You could go one way. There also could be trouble. But you're right. If it's blocking a number of stalls, then you're certainly within your rights if it's a busy spot.
I've seen pictures of charging stations where there's 4 stalls and all 4 of them have gas cars in them. That would frustrate me. So this one is a question for you. Is this a real bit of etiquette or a myth? Should you leave a note in your window that says, I plan to be done at 1:30 p.m.?
That's extremely helpful, especially in the early days of EV charging, is to know if someone's actually coming back at a certain time. You can look at your watch and say, oh, that's 15 minutes away. I think it's worth waiting because I can do something for 15 minutes and this person's going to be back at 1:30. So I think that can be helpful. There used to be groups that would provide you with like a pinwheel of times that you could just put up in your car dashboard, letting people know that you'd be back at 2.
Most time travelers have stopped watching my channel. So we're talking about today. Is this still important?
I was talking about the old days, the fun days, Brian.
Well, to the few remaining time travelers, all I can say is do not let the authority find out about what we've been up to. It would be detrimental to the fabric of the universe. They know who I'm talking to. I don't know. I think especially if you're at a place where it's always super busy, but I don't know. I think these days may have expired. I think I'm going to put that one down as a myth. Plan ahead. Hey man, especially if you have a road trip, plan on charging. Use a better route planner, use PlugShare. If you're in a Tesla, use the onboard system.
If you're not in a Tesla, have a plan B or maybe even a plan C on your route, because that can certainly save you in some instances.
Don't be careless with the cables, man. Don't smack them on the ground. That's one reason Tesla chargers cables are so short, is to make them less prone to damage. But especially at places like Electrify America, where the network is already not as reliable as you'd like it to be, don't hurt the cables.
Don't run over a cable. Do not put your tire on a cable. Even if it's in the way, stop your car, get out, move the cable, then pull into the stall. Do not drive on a cable at any point.
If you are the first one to drive over that cable, you may be the first one electrocuted by it.
Let's hope not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, don't drive over a cable is all I'm saying. Charging at a friend's, I mean, I guess this is etiquette. It just says ask, and I think that's reasonable. I think showing them what the math is, and it does say, maybe leave a parting gift. Hey, if I need to leave a $3.50 bottle of wine that you don't know costs $3.50 in order to get my $1.50 of juice, I think even Steven, right? Yeah? Okay. And then, of course, this just goes for life. Be tidy. Don't leave your trash.
Yeah.
If there's no trash cans, good news, you've got 10, 15 minutes to go find one, or don't act like an animal. So
put it in your back seat. You'll find it later.
You will find it later. I would argue that there are more. See, this is one that Mark shared with me, and I thought these are pretty good, but some of them feel a little out of date, and the list is definitely incomplete. So I found some. Please and thank yous of plugging in. This is decent from Car and Driver from last April. Is it rude to stay plugged in for 100% charge? I mean, I was there first. I think you can answer this in one word, Mark. What is it rude?
The word is yes, it's rude.
Mm-hmm. Unless there's open spots, don't do that. If there are open spots, do whatever makes you happy. But it says, especially, this goes triple for Lucid drivers. Even at 80%, a Lucid should have 300 miles of range. And charging to full accelerates your battery degradation, so it's rude to your car, too. Now, newer cars with newer battery packs don't suffer as much from this, but still, do you really want to spend an extra 40 minutes getting from 80 to 100? The only time I've ever gone well past 80 was before returning my rental car because there were no chargers near the airport. That's convenient. And they gave it to me at 90%. I'm like, why would you do that? Okay, fine. That should be etiquette, is if you're going to rent them out, Hertz, know what you're doing. No, we'd rather lose money, and I mean a lot of it.
Mission done.
I like to use the fastest charger. Is that wrong?
No.
Well, what if you're driving a Mini Cooper with a 50 kilowatt max?
Well, that's knowing your vehicle, as we talked about in the previous. What is your maximum charge? And of course, if your car can't take that maximum charge and there's another charger available to you that's closer to your maximum charge, that's the one you should use.
Absolutely. If you've got something that can only accept a low rate, don't grab the fastest handle there. Grab the one that's most appropriate. And I would say further to that point, there's a station in Oregon I know of, a supercharger station that has 150 and 250 kilowatt handles, and it's next to a restaurant. If you're going into the restaurant, use the 150 because you don't need 250. You'll have to come out halfway through your meal. That's rude to yourself. Just thinking out loud here. Now, this is one that might start some fist fights. I hope you've got your boxing gloves on. My Tesla can charge anywhere, so I plug in wherever I see an open spot, even if it isn't a Tesla station. Really? A year ago you were writing this? I'm calling shenanigans. I don't think I've ever seen a Tesla at a non-Tesla spot, except maybe in the middle of nowhere. But even then, that's not a question, but also you're desperate. Please don't do that. Do you agree?
Somewhat. I do know that sometimes there is a great difference in pricing on chargers. Certain networks have different rates. If there is a great difference, I have seen some Teslas charge at Electrify America, for example, because there's a better rate. They feel that that works for them. They're getting about the same amount of charge in the same amount of time. So guess what? Electrify America wants your money as well. So I don't see an issue with that.
I've got 2 points to it. I think a lot of the times I've seen a Tesla plugged into a non-Tesla charger was at a place where the charging was free. Hey man, just because Tesla has great chargers doesn't mean that those aren't customers eligible for the same promotion you're enjoying. I think fair is fair. And also, now that the Tesla network is open to everyone, there are definitely more non-Teslas using Tesla locations than Teslas using non-Tesla locations. And I think that gulf will only widen in coming years. I would say do so with caution, but I would say it's probably not even an issue. Why would you? It doesn't seem like it's going to help you that much.
I know in my personal experience that I've never had the need to go elsewhere, except for maybe an L2 charge when I was going to be someplace for a long time. But other than that, I've never had the need to go to anything but a Tesla fast charger.
So I would say that it's adorable that you call level 2 slow while I am sitting here charging up at level 1. But
it's all perspective, Brian. It's all perspective.
And I went to Portland today, and I'm going to Portland again tomorrow, and I have no concern at all. The amount of juice I'll pick up tonight, more than enough to get my second trip to Portland in without any fear of needing to hit a public charger.
And about how many miles would that be for you to Portland?
50, 60 miles each way, 120 miles. And I typically only charge to 80, so... Okay, do I really have to log into PlugShare or other reporting apps?
I'd say yes. I get you don't have to, but you know what? You're helping the community, and the community is the one that's keeping this page up and keeping it updated so that when you pull up, you've got a good idea as to whether the charger works and works reliably, and you should contribute with that. It doesn't take a lot of effort to go in and put a note in that the charge went fine. And that's all you have to do. It's quick, it's easy, and it helps everybody.
Also, I would argue you have the time. You're not doing anything. You're not standing there holding the handle like it's a gas pump. You definitely don't have to. When it comes to reviews, a lot of times my phone will say, you went to this restaurant, would you like to write a review? And before I decide if I'm going to do that, I look and see if there are already enough helpful reviews. And if my review would be the same as the others, I don't do it. It also will like ask me, hey, you're on a roll. You should review Subway. How was it? My friend, it was a Subway. I don't know what you want me to tell you. You've been to a Subway? That's what it is. It's that. But I would say, do you have to? Absolutely not. Should you? Yeah, you should consider it. At least consider it. There are so many people who suck at this. Can I mock them?
Of course, you can do that anytime you want.
So I would say yes, but only to us, and but not to them, because we've all been the new guy. Let's not make it worse for the new guy. How about another page of possible rules versus myths? This one's got some regular good stuff in it and some less good stuff, but let's see what we've got here. Thou shalt not hog charging point without charging. So this is saying if you're not plugged in, if it says EV parking only and it's a charger, it doesn't mean you can park there. It means you can park there if you're charging.
Yeah, it's not a parking spot. It's a charging parking spot. So if you're not charging, get out.
Do not unplug someone else's car.
That's simple etiquette again. You shouldn't be touching other people's property in sense. I've seen many times somebody unplugs a vehicle because they assume the other vehicle is full, whereas they didn't know enough about the other vehicle to be able to tell the flashing light code to know whether it was full or not. They just decided it'd be quicker just to unplug it and say, well, we thought it was full.
Now this one, how on earth is this an etiquette or commandment? Car makers must build cars with external charge indicators and plugs that release the locking at 80%. Are you trying to make a new rule? Come on. I like it. I love the idea, but who is this article for? Are you hoping Jim Farley reads this? Because I'm just going to tell you right now, the odds are there's only one of him. So it's very crazy. When you do unplug someone else's car, stop, hold on, don't do that. And it even points out a lot of cars, the handle locks, so don't, but if you do unplug their car, carefully close the charge port.
Just don't do it.
Just be careful with your cables. And that's, I just saw, are you idiots? We aren't talking the EV hits 80%, remove it. We're saying it 100%. And yeah, don't park there overnight also. But I think more stations now have idle pricing. So yeah, if it's full and you really want to spend an extra $40 for your parking, I guess that's good. Bit weird, but okay. I've just got 2 more pages to share. This one is a little longer. The last one is 30 seconds and then we'll be done. But before we get to the end, I would say which ones are missing from this list? What is some EV charging etiquette that we have forgotten, that we have somehow overlooked, that we have missed or misunderstood? Here are a few helpful hints. No dock blocking, no icing. We already got that. Don't overstay. We got it. Choose your charger wisely. We got that. Communicate with fellow EV drivers. Okay. Avoid jumping the queue. Look after the connector. Don't unplug someone else. Just don't. I would love to walk over to someone in the middle of pumping gas and just pull the handle out of their car.
I thought you were done.
I thought you were done. I'm standing here. Hey man.
Yeah, I know. You didn't look like you were doing anything.
You were zoning out. I thought, I don't know. Make the charging area comfortable for everyone. Turn your stereo down. Pay attention. And place your rubbish in a nearby bin. Don't press the emergency stop button. What's that? Is that a thing?
It's on older chargers. They used to have a red button to stop. Really not relevant today.
In case lightning is pouring out?
I have no idea why.
I don't know, man. That's a weird
one. Kind of scary, actually.
When was this written? Less than 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Love it. And the big one, the new one, this comes to us courtesy of our friend Kyle Connor from Out of Spec. Damn, look at this Model 3 towing a huge trailer. Yeah, you're in the one pull-through spot. And you can see Kyle is in a Cybertruck. Kyle is off and towing. And this
Brian,
guy...
yes. I have to admit, that was me.
It was not.
I've done this. The first time that I went on a long trip, I supercharged at 3 stops in that position because I thought, oh, this is great. It's convenient. I just get the pull in. I don't even have to worry about backing in and hitting my bumper. I can just pull in. It didn't strike me as incorrect because I was the new guy. I didn't quite understand it until I read some comments about other people, and I said, "Oh my gosh, this is for trailers. I used this 3 times and I shouldn't have." But again, that's something where the communication of other EV drivers at a particular supercharger can help you out. Just mention to them, be kind about it because they may be the new guy.
They may. And really, this video is about having fun and I'm not expecting anyone watching this to look at the whole list and go, wow, I had no idea. I'm hoping you'll look at the list and get one new thing, maybe two. I went to this seminar in 2007 called 2007 Sales Techniques, whatever. I pointed out to my friend, I said, 2007 sales techniques? That seems like too many. And so he went into full presenter mode. He goes, now you might only get 500 or 600 of these in the first time, but if you sign up for our training course, 2007, man, that seems excessive, but all right, I guess. Hey guys, if you get a chance, you could support me. You know, you don't have to, of course, and I'm just glad you're here. You could subscribe. If you're not, only about half of you are subscribed. If everybody subscribed, I'd be at 100,000, and maybe then I would get respect from the big dogs. But there's an old guard, and they're not always interested in the new guy. So after 1,300 videos in 3.5 years, I guess I'm still the new guy. I did get this week my very first video of someone trying to take me down. Ooh, take down. Yeah, they got a video. It's from the X takeover last summer. Me, Alexandra Mertz, Farzad Mizbahi, and Amy on stage, and he's going to take us down. You want to know what the claim was? I'm going to make a whole video about it because it's so silly. All of us, those 4 of us, are secretly Tesla employees.
Oh,
what are you talking about? Or
man,
at least, yeah.
You didn't tell me, Brian. You did not tell me that.
It was a secret even to me. Or at least they're getting like inside connections and like access. Oh, so you've never watched my channel, because
Never.
That is a topic about which I speak frequently and passionately. I do not have that access. I do not get into events. Great. So, and he goes, these people keep saying not financial advice. They said it 5 times. Yeah, we did. That's literally the point. And of course, that's what we said. That's what we meant. And then of course, his pinned comment in his video is, click here to buy my newsletter where I give you financial advice. Oh, I get it. It's projection, you absolute buffoon. The reason I haven't made the video yet is because, unlike him, I actually do research before I call people out. And he's saying that what I'm doing may be illegal. So I guess if you don't see me again, it's because I've gone away for a while. I come back. I look very surprised. Brian, you didn't go to jail, did you? No, I was in jail. I was in jail. It's just a little nippy tucky. I look good. Who's got money for that? What a waste. I don't know.
Oh, man.
We have fun. Mark, I appreciate hanging out with you. Guys, in the comments, what do we miss? What do we misunderstand? Smack buttons, you know what you're doing, and stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots at a charging station. Yes, if you see me, it's okay to say hello.